Boom! What's up, guys? Hello and welcome. Do you ever feel like you are putting resources into your business and you are not getting somewhat of a return that you are expecting? That is what we're going to be talking about, is the resources that you have, that you don't have, that you need to have, or maybe that you already have that need to be being put into your business, and the byproduct of those resources. So Sam and I had, honestly, probably one of a very serious talk today, because we had pretty much figured out that the business is getting to a point where we need to consider what resources that we have, what we don't have, and what need to basically be moved around for the service delivery that we want to offer people. So we, obviously being as ambitious as we are, chose one of the healthcare industries. And this is honestly really challenging in its own way, because, when you're dealing with a high ticket problem, you have to become very resourceful. You got to really be thinking about the time frame of what it's like to get deals, the time frame on how long it's going to actually take to help somebody, and the health of your deal flow, the health of your business, how many deals are you getting per the units of outreach. And we're having a whole discussion on this today, because Sam's going back to working in the school setting, and we couldn't help but think, like, okay, what is the current status of the business? Sam is going to be going back to school. She's not going to have as much time, which is a resource. You either have time, money, energy, people, or whatever have you. Knowledge is another one. You got to think about the resources that you have that you can input into the business to deliver a good service, to get the results that you want in the time frame, whether it's a certain dollar amount, whether it's a certain amount of revenue, whether it's a certain amount of net worth, and then having the deal flow equivalent to matching that outcome. So I threw together a little equation. Maybe this will be valuable for you. You just got to think about the limitation of your resources, or in another way, think about the maximization of your resourcefulness equated to the effectiveness of your delivery systems, which is what we were kind of going deep on today. The time frame in which you expect results, obviously that's different for every business, and then the expectation of the healthy deal flow. So we're throwing all those equations, variables, and things on the board, and we're talking about it today. Craziest thing happened, because we were thinking about maybe changing up the service delivery, and thinking, oh, maybe we're not able to deliver this service as confidently as we thought, just based upon the data and how the summer went and all that stuff. But it got to a point where we're like, we need to change something. We thought we were going to have to change the delivery systems, because the theory is, we were thinking it's going to require a lot of resources, filing for a business, filing for, lawyers, being able to put capital into lawyers to make sure that we're following HIPAA, applying contracts and not, just basically covering our asses, right? Like, there's a lot of resources that go into that. And that's the stuff that we're thinking about, because it's been subconsciously, insidiously coming into our day-to-day, and we felt a lot of friction. And it got to a point where we're like, man, how many resources do we really have to deliver a really good service in the time frame in which that we want to get a healthy level of deal flow that we would feel like this business would make us feel fulfilled and purposeful? So these were some of the thoughts going on inside of our head with her going back to school, because there's going to be a great limitation of resources in the name of time for Sam's end to be reaching out to people. So we were just thinking about, reorganizing things. And partial apology, guys, but my thoughts have been all over the place today with all this stuff. But this is just, a big piece of the journey. I think today was a really interesting day, and I'm trying to share these frameworks with you guys, because you got to think about this stuff. You got to think about the resources you have, how effective your delivery is, how long it's going to really take for you to have a healthy business, because that's what you're doing it for, right? That's what we're doing it for, is to have a healthy business. Sam was using the analogy, business is like a baby learning how to walk, right? And if your business can never walk, is it really for? Like, you want to have a healthy business, you want to have healthy deal flow, and it all comes back to your resources that you have that can be identified or created, the effectiveness of those resources put into your service delivery, the time frame in which that you need to make money. Obviously for us, we're in a unique situation where we're doing obviously this business to make money. We're also doing it to make impact and provide a lot of value. But we've always been able to stumble upon the question, are we doing this for money or are we doing this for purpose? So there's a lot of these things going on around in our heads. So this is me just kind of making an attempt to just kind of get it out there in somewhat of a coherent way. Maybe you guys can relate to kind of what I'm saying here, but that's what we've been thinking about. That's kind of the flow of today. And then from there, the other piece was we had, in the midst of conversation, we had somebody reach out to us that could potentially be a good fit for this offer that we've been building. And it's quite interesting, honestly, because the idea here is we would be co-constructing the offer in a pilot setting where we would get resources to build out the service delivery with somebody where the stakes are low, and it would make sense for them, it would make sense for us. So it'd be kind of a win-win. So that's probably the biggest peak that we've honestly achieved right now here in the business. So we're going to kind of see how that goes. So it's kind of like a beta client, but we're going to have to see how it follows through. I'm not going to say anything in an absolute, anything's guaranteed or given, but that's kind of maybe the universe's way of speaking to us. Maybe this is where we need to be, because we almost just overhauled everything and changed it up, and then that happened. So it kind of seems like a divine message from the universe with this private practice owner. So we're going to kind of see how that goes. And then I'm definitely going to be coming back to these concepts, because I think the conversation in of itself today has shined a lot of light on, the factors at play personally to have a professional business. The resources you have or do not have, the effectiveness of your service delivery. Is your service delivery existent? Is it non-existent? Are you trying to recreate the wheel? Are you trying to outsource? Are you trying to hire somebody to do it? There's all these things that come into play. For us, we're having to find ourselves to reinvent the wheel and create a whole brand new service from scratch and deliver it. So it's something that you got to think about. Thirdly, to the time frame, like, how long are you willing to put resources and not seeing a return? Like for us, I said, hey man, like, I want to make money this year. Like, I would rather have a service delivery with the resources that I have to have a healthy deal flow. That's my whole thing, so that's a whole thing we're dealing with. And then it's just the time frame, the health of the business, and then being able to move forward. Because, I've been in the position where I've wanted to do a business, and then years have gone by, months have gone by, and then nothing gets going. And we just got to a point today where we're just fed up, and we had to analyze all of this. So it's some crazy stuff is happening, guys. I'm going to do my best to bring you guys more higher energy videos like this rather than just late at night. Going back to kind of like how I started this vlog. So be posted for more stuff. I'm also going to be exploring more of what I'm doing day to day using AI. So I'm just pouring it all out there today, guys. Just putting all these ideas out there. I'm about to go hit a great gym session. Been out of the gym for a couple days, so we're gonna get a nice chest and back day in, and then just kind of keep building up the energy and keep building on today's win. So that's pretty much it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.